Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Retold and activities by Lisa Suet. Copyright Ellie 2018. One day, a beautiful, kind queen had a baby girl. Look at my daughter. Her hair is as black as the night sky. Her lips are as red as cherries, and her face is as white as snow, said the queen. Let's call her Snow White, said the king. But Snow White's mother died when she was a little baby. 1 year later, the king married another woman, and she became the new queen. The new queen was beautiful, but she was unkind and didn't love Snow White. She was very wicked. The years passed, and Snow White was now a young girl. She was very pretty and kind. The queen wanted to be the most beautiful woman in the world. She had a magic mirror, and every day she stood in front of the mirror and asked a question. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of them all? The mirror always said, "You are, Queen." One day, the queen asked her magic mirror, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of them all? But this time, the mirror said, Snow White is the most beautiful of them all. She is more beautiful than you. The queen was very angry. She called a huntsman to the castle. You must take Snow White into the forest and kill her. Then bring me her heart, said the queen. The huntsman took Snow White into the forest, but he didn't want to hurt her. Run away, Snow White, and don't come back. The queen wants to kill you, said the huntsman. Snow White ran and ran. The huntsman killed an animal and took its heart to the queen. Ha! Ha! Now I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, said the wicked queen. Snow White was lost in the forest. Where am I? Said Snow White. Then she saw a small house. She knocked on the door and called, Hello! But there was no answer. So she opened the door and went inside. Everything in the house was small, and there was 7 of everything. Who lives here? Thought Snow White. Snow White was hungry and thirsty, so she sat down on a small chair and she ate 1 small cake and drank 1 small cup of milk. Then she went upstairs and went to sleep on one of the small beds. Seven dwarfs lived in the house. Every day they went to work. They always helped each other, and every day they sang a song together.
Hooray, hooray, we go to work all day. We're the 7 dwarfs, we're young and old, and we dig for gold. Hooray, 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 we go to work all day. We're the 7 dwarfs, we're young and old, and we dig for gold. Hooray, hooray,
That night, the 7 dwarfs came home. "Where's my cake?" asked the first dwarf. "Where's my milk?" asked the second dwarf. The 7 dwarfs went upstairs. Snow White woke up and saw the 7 dwarfs. "I'm sorry I ate your cake, and I'm sorry I drank your milk," said Snow White. Then she told them about the bad queen. "You can stay here with us," said the oldest dwarf. "Oh, thank you," said Snow White. So every day the 7 dwarfs went to work, and Snow White stayed in the little house. She was happy with the dwarfs. At the castle, the queen was happy. But one morning she asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of them all?" The mirror answered, "Snow White is the most beautiful of them all. She lives in the forest with the 7 dwarfs." "What?" shouted the queen. "I must find her and kill her." The wicked queen put some red apples in a basket. She put poison in one apple. Then she put on old clothes and went to the 7 dwarfs' house. "Hello, would you like a lovely red apple?" asked the queen. Snow White didn't know it was the queen. "Thank you," said Snow White. She ate a small piece. "Yuck, it tastes bad," said Snow White. Snow White looked at the old woman's face. It was the queen. Snow White fell to the floor. "Ha! Ha! Goodbye, Snow White. Now I'm the most beautiful woman in the world," said the queen. In the evening, the dwarfs came home. They tried to wake up Snow White, but poor Snow White didn't wake up. The dwarfs were sad and decided to put Snow White in a glass box. One day, a prince was in the forest. He saw the glass box and looked inside. He fell in love with Snow White. "Can I take her with me to the palace?" asked the prince. "Yes," said the oldest dwarf. "You're a prince and she's a princess, and you're good and kind." The dwarfs began to carry the glass box. But the glass box fell and broke. The piece of apple fell out of Snow White's mouth. Snow White opened her eyes and saw the prince. The next day, the queen looked in her magic mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of them all?" The mirror answered, "Snow White is the most beautiful woman in the world. The prince loves her." "No!" shouted the queen. She was very angry. She broke her magic mirror, ran out of the castle, and never came back again. The prince and Snow White got married. There was a wonderful party, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dwarfs came to the wedding.